Greetings from Bali. My name is Bob Smith. This is the second in a series of yoga routines called Introduction to Yoga. These routines are English and in Indonesian. Start by lifting through your rib cage as you sit on the floor, and then as you exhale, try not to collapse the spine. So as you exhale, empty from the bottom, your belly muscles go back, your ribs go in a little bit, and then on the inhale you lift through your rib cage. So the two main principles are that we breathe slow and deep. As you inhale, you lift, and as you exhale, you don't collapse the spine. You exhale from the bottom of the lungs to the top. The sound of the breath is made through the back of the throat, so the jaws are relaxed, your tongue is back in the throat. As you inhale, you hear the sound through the throat coming up. And as you exhale, you maintain the length of spine. And these are the two critical factors we're working with in the postures. Breathing slow and deep and keeping the spine as long and tall as possible. Let's begin the second routine on our hands and knees. As you're on your hands and knees, bring your knees straight under the hips and the hands straight under the shoulders. As you inhale, your rib cage lowers. The belly hangs low. This is called cow posture. As you exhale, you'll tuck the pelvis, you round your low back, your middle back, your upper back, into the neck, you round the whole back. This is called cat. Inhale, your pelvis lifts, your low ribs drop, your chest drops, your shoulders roll back, your neck arches, you look up. Exhale, the pelvis tucks, you round your low, middle, upper back, into the neck, stretching the back muscles. Inhale, the opposite direction, the pelvis tips, your low ribs drop, your chest drops, shoulders roll back, your neck arches. Two more times. Exhale, round your low, middle, upper back, stretching your back muscles. And then inhale, the opposite direction, your ribs drop, your shoulder blades drop, your chest opens, you look up. And last time, exhale, round low, middle, upper back. And inhale, and flatten the back, and in fact, extend the back, arch the back. Now from here, you're going to make circles with your rib cage. So your arms are fairly straight, and your ribs are circling around. The hips are going slightly different direction from the ribs. It's mainly your rib cage circling around, and so you're loosening all along the back muscles. We get tired in the back from sitting and rounding into it, or standing and rounding into it. And so we need to get more flexibility through the back, and that's what we're starting with. As you circle the ribs, you're breathing steadily. Let it feel good. It should feel good. It should help to loosen your back. And then circle the other way with your rib cage. So your ribs are going around in a circle, and the pelvis is moving as it will to just feel good in your low back. Now from here, we're going to just do a little core balancing. So stabilize as if you're a table, and then take one arm forward. So we'll stand on, say, the right arm and take your left arm forward. Instead of shrugging your shoulders, draw your shoulder blade area back, and then the arm out. And balance here, a couple breaths. Exhale, reach out through the left arm as you pull the shoulder blade back. And one more breath. Pull back and reach out. And then the second side. Your left hand down, you'll take your right arm out. But don't round your upper back. Try to flatten the upper back so that your shoulder blade area draws back. And then the arm reaches out. On the inhale, you stay pretty steady with it. On the exhale, both shoulder blades pull back, your right arm reaches out, and your back lengthens. One more time, inhale. And exhale, shoulder blades back, arm out. And then release from there. Now from here, you're going to hook under with your toes. You're going to raise your knees up, raise the pelvis, raise your hips up, knees bent. Try to flatten the back. This posture is called dog stretch. So it's like a dog or a cat getting up from a rest, where the stretch their front legs out. You stretch your arms out. What you don't want to do is round the back like this. So instead, bend your knees so your low back can lift and your mid back can stay flat. And then you can get into the shoulders and open them, and your chest lowers towards the floor. Couple more breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Lift your sitting bones. And the chest opens, the shoulders open, your neck should be relaxed. One more breath. Inhale. And exhale. And open your chest, open your shoulders. And then come down onto your knees. Tuck your pelvis and start to come forward. As you tuck the pelvis, you're going to lean forward. This posture is eventually called cobra, like a cobra snake. Wiggle a little bit, side to side, relaxing your low back muscles. This is the challenge, is to get enough length in your low back as you're here. Inhale, breathe into the ribs and pull out. Exhale, re-pull out low ribs, and then your shoulders roll back some. Your neck lengthens like a cobra's neck, so it's not like this. It should be like a turtle's neck. Instead, like a cobra's neck. The chin is in, shoulders down, and you pull out with the ribs. Now go back and forth between the two postures. Hook under with your toes, and you raise up to down dog position. Couple exhales, open the chest. And one more, exhale and open the chest. And then back down onto your knees. Tuck the pelvis, start to come forward with your chest, roll your shoulders back. And you come into the cobra, 2 breaths. Inhale, breathing into the ribs. Exhale, re-pull out low rib cage. Raise your chest, raise your head, chin in. One more breath, inhale. And exhale and pull open like a cobra snake, lifting up. And then one more time up into down dog. Hook under with your toes and find your way up into down dog. This time, what we'll do is bend one knee and stretch to the other heel of foot. So say bend your right knee and reach through the left heel of foot. So the left heel of foot comes towards the floor. And then the second side, bend your left knee, reach the right heel of foot towards the floor. You still maintain the lift of the hips. Back and forth one more time. Bending right knee, stretching left calf and hamstring. Second side, bend left knee and stretch your right calf and hamstring as you lift the hips. And then come down onto your knees and rest in what is called prayer position. Arms forward, head on the floor, hips resting back onto the feet. Take 3 or 4 deep breaths here. Let your low back muscles stretch out. Feel the effects of the first couple of movements that we've made. Now from here we're going to come to a standing position. So slowly come back onto your hands and knees. And then hook under with your toes and come to a standing position. Now as you come to a standing position, let's establish just how we stand. Typically we tend to lock one leg back and fold our arms forward and stand in a crooked manner. This is not good for your low back, not good for your knees, not good for many parts of the body. What we want to do is, as we stand, you can stand on one leg, but you want the outer hip of the standing leg to open instead of to turn in. It opens so you face straight forward. And then as you stand through, you lengthen through the whole back. So we're not standing like this. We're standing vertically, upright. Now on both feet, we'll try that. So this posture is called the mountain pose. Your hip joints open just slightly, so the knees angle ever so slightly open. And then we bring the hands together into the center of the chest, prayer position. As you're here, shift the weight back and forth a little bit. We tend to stand back on the heels. We'd like to stand more over the center of the foot, so it feels like you have to shift slightly forward. Open the knees a little, drop your pelvis and lift the low ribs. And this is the mountain, so you're strong like a mountain. Now, from this position, we'll do a couple of movements. Spread your feet about shoulder distance apart, and we're going to fold forward. As you fold forward, What you don't want is to round the back and then come into a position like this. This is not good for your low back. What is good for your low back is to bend your knees, tip the pelvis up, and slowly come forward with a lengthened back, with a flat back. So your chest is pulling open. I'm using my thumbs in the hip joint to help the fold happen there rather than rounding in the low rib cage. So you fold forward, and then you can take your hands onto the back of the ankles, hold the ankles. As you exhale, pull out with your chest. Now your neck, you want to bring the chin in slightly. And so you're trying to lengthen the whole back as you stretch the legs. On the inhale, you're pretty steady. On the exhale, you lift the sitting bones and move a little bit further out and possibly down, depending on your hamstring flexibility, the back of the leg flexibility. One more breath. Inhale, breathe through the ribs, through the back. And exhale and pull open with your chest. Okay, then from there, come up slowly. As you come up, some blood will drain out of your head, so come up slowly. And then we're going to try a back bend, where you stand strongly through both feet, open the knees, the hips a little bit, your pelvis comes forward over the feet, and then your rib cage lifts, your chest and rib cage lifts, and then you start to arch back. As you arch back, you don't want to take your neck quickly back. You lift the chest, the back of the neck stays long as you start to look up. On the inhale, open the chest upwards. On the exhale, reopen upwards and then arch back a little bit more. Your hands could go down the buttock or down the back of the legs, the hamstrings. One more breath. Inhale, breathe into the ribs. Exhale, reopen the chest, lift up, and then release. And from here, widen your feet so you're approximately leg distance apart and fold forward. As you fold forward, again, we don't want the rounded back. You want the lengthened back, so you're pulling your chest open forward. Now, 3 or 4 breaths here. On the inhale, breathe into the ribs. Exhale, re-pull out low rib cage, slowly going out and forward. Your hamstrings beginning to stretch. 2 more breaths. Inhale, breathe through the ribs, through the back. Exhale, pull out, reach through. And 1 more breath. Inhale, breathe through the ribs. And exhale and go a little lower and a little lower, and release. From here, I'll show it sideways. Your feet are still spread about leg distance apart, possibly in just slightly. You'll turn both feet out 45 degrees. Your knees are going to open over the front of the ankles. You're going to push off the inner knees with your hands, twist towards one side, stay. Push off your right knee and twist left. Keep your neck long as you twist. And then turn the other way. Push off of left knee with your left hand. Your spine is pulling forward. And then you turn the ribs. The ribs turn, but the spine stays long. 1 more breath. Inhale. Exhale. Twisting toward the right with a lengthened spine. Your neck is included, so you bring the chin in rather than going forward and out with the chin. And release. Now from there, you're going to come down a little bit lower. Your elbows are going to come to the crease of the inner knee, to the inside of the knee. You're going to push with your elbows out, so it's an inner thigh stretch. As you're in the position, your back muscles are flattening, so you're not coming down, rounding like this. You're flattening, opening the hip joints, your inner thigh muscles, and reaching out. Now a couple more breaths here. Inhale, breathe through the ribs. Exhale, pushing out, lowering a little bit. And 1 more breath. Inhale. Watch the neck. It tends to do this. Keep the chin in slightly. Last exhale. Exhale, lengthen, lower just slightly, and release, and come out of there. Slowly come up, come in with your feet, and stand for a moment. Stand back into the mountain pose. Hands together in prayer position. Feel the effects of the first few postures. We're going to do a couple more standing poses. Let's open your left foot forward to the left. Your right foot's going to turn 3/4 of the way forward. And we're going to try the same basic moves of arching up, back, and then folding forward. So as you arch back, your feet are a little bit closer, bearing the weight on the right foot. Push off the sacrum with your thumbs and lift the chest. And as you lift the chest, we come back. Again, watch the, well, really we need to watch the low back first, so you lift the ribs to get some of the pressure off the low back. And then you arch back and watch the neck so you don't take it back quickly. You draw the chin in slightly at first. One more breath. Exhale and open. You'll feel it in your low back, but you want to keep lifting as you arch. And then widen your left foot forward and your right foot back a little bit. Take your left thumb in the hip joint, fold forward. As you fold forward, keep the back long so it turns into a hamstring stretch. And then your left hand's going to come onto the shin or onto the floor. Turn a little bit towards the left. It's mainly a left hamstring stretch. As you turn left, you might be able to touch the floor or just off the floor onto your shin. Now balance is an issue here. You want to keep some of the weight back, and as you turn, you're exhaling. As you inhale, you stay steady. As you exhale, you turn. And then come up from there slowly, and we'll take it to the second side. You'll turn your right foot open. For the back bend, you'll be a little narrower with your foot base. Bearing the weight on the left foot, lift the chest, arch up, back, and the two legs work differently. One side you'll likely have a little more strength than the other, but feel it, the chest lifting, the shoulders rolling back, your neck lengthening. One more breath, inhale, and exhale, and lift the chest and open, and then release. Widen your feet as you start to fold over your right hip joint. You take your right thumb in the hip joint and open it a little bit. As you fold forward and fold forward, both hands come onto the shin. Couple breaths here. Reach out, reach through. And one more. You're trying to lengthen the back by tipping the pelvis up and then reaching out and then turning a little bit. The balance becomes an issue as you turn, so some of the weight stays back as you turn to the right. And one more breath, and you want the neck long as you see here, with this. Long through the neck and long through the back, and open that right leg. And release, and let's come out of there. Come into a forward bend with your feet spread about leg distance once again. And fold forward, let your back muscles lengthen out, let your hamstrings stretch. And one more breath here. Okay, from here we're going to come onto our back and we're going to do some core work. Part of sitting upright is to be stronger through your core, to have stronger abdominal muscles, to have stronger mid-upper back muscles. So right now we're going to work on our abdominal muscles as you lie on your back. Get your neck so it's relaxed and long instead of the chin like this. So chin in slightly, back of the neck long. And then you'll take both legs up into the air. Arms could go out to the sides. And lower both feet till you're about 45-degree angle from the floor. And 2 or 3 breaths. As you exhale, reach out through your feet, the heels of the feet. The toes are turned open a little bit. And one more breath. Exhale, reach out, and lower just a little bit. And then bend your knees and come in. Hold the knees in. Now we're going to do that twice more. Take your legs back up. Open the feet. Lower your legs. Exhale. Inhale, so you're about where you were. Then exhale, we'll go just a tiny lower. Inhale, hold it. Exhale, lower just one more stage. Inhale, hold it. Exhale, reach through here. And then release, bend your knees. Take your knees in, hold the knees, hold the shins. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, release. And twice more, exhale. And one more, exhale, squeeze, inhale, release. Now take both feet down on the floor. We're going to be working on the neck muscles. The head tends to pitch forward when we're in daily activities. We'd like to find better neck support. On the floor, raise your head the slightest amount. Look straight up. In fact, look up, back a little bit with your head barely off. And now as you inhale, stay steady. Exhale, your chin is in just slightly. You're lengthening as much as you can. There's work going on in the neck muscles. You can feel it. 2 more breaths. Inhale, breathe through the ribs. Exhale, lengthen through. And 1 more, inhale, breathe. Exhale, lengthen through. You're feeling these neck muscles work. And then rest your head down. Let your head turn to one side and then the other, letting your neck muscles relax as you do so. Okay, that's the first piece of core we're doing. Take your knees back in, rock a little bit, and then we're going to roll off to one side and come on up. And then we're going to turn over onto our belly. Now as you come onto your belly, we're going to be strengthening our low back muscles. This posture is called locusts. And what we do is we raise our legs. As you raise your legs, it doesn't have to be as high as possible, but you want to try to lengthen the back muscles. They're working and you don't want to jam them in. So on the inhale, you breathe through. Exhale, reach your feet back and your head out with the chin in slightly. And 3 or 4 more breaths. Inhale, you will feel the work down here. Exhale, reach through the legs, reach through your back, chin in slightly. A couple more breaths. Breathe in, inhale. Exhale, reach through. And 1 more breath. Breathe in, inhale. Exhale, reach through. And then lower your feet and lower your head. Take the hands under the forehead. Rest your forehead on the top hand. Rest here for a few breaths. It's a deep, slow breathing as you're resting here. From this position, we're going to bend your knees and bring the feet in toward the buttock. Now, it depends on how flexible your quadricep muscles are, but bring the feet in, and they might touch the buttock or not, but just stretch your front of the legs out. And then hold the ankles, pull your feet back, the chest raises, your knees are off the ground, you're pulling apart, you pull your feet back and your chest out. This posture is called bow pose. As you inhale, you're pretty steady. As you exhale, you pull further out with your chest and back with your feet, trying to lengthen your low back and your neck. 1 more breath. Inhale, breathe through the ribs. Exhale, pull back with your feet, open the chest like pulling a bowstring. And then release and come down slowly. As you come down, take your hands near the low rib cage, come up, back, and you'll rest back into prayer position. So your buttock will rest onto the feet, your arms forward, and just let your low back stretch out after the back bend. Breathe a few breaths here. So as we go along, the body starts to loosen and you start to feel a little better and a little better. Next position I'd like to try is it's an outer hip stretch. Take your left foot forward. So the left foot's going to come in front of the right hip. And then you're going to, the left knee is coming straight forward from the hip. And then you'll come down onto your forearms. And as you come down to your forearms, your left buttock will be slightly off the ground, but drop a little bit with your chest and reach out with your rib cage. From here, try hooking under with your right foot Your back knee will come off the ground. You'll get a deeper stretch to the outer left hip. On the exhale, tip the pelvis back, reach back with your pelvis, reach out with the chest. Shoulder blades go back, neck goes long, it lengthens the chin in. One more breath. Exhale, reach. Okay, then your right knee's going to come down. Your right hand's going to come across to the left knee. We'll turn. However, as you turn, keep that left hip fairly low to the ground. It will raise a little bit, but push off the hip with your left hand and start to turn. Another thing we tend to do wrong is to dip the right shoulder forward, raise it. Instead, keep the right shoulder back, so as you turn, the spine is one long, straight line. As you exhale, you look back over the left shoulder, pushing off the sacrum, turning. One more breath. Inhale, exhale, turn, stretch your left hip. And then release. Come out of there by hooking under with your right foot. Come up a little bit towards the down dog. And then you'll swing your right knee forward to the inside of the right hand with your right foot just in front of that left hip. And then you'll lean forward. As you lean forward, just make sure your left knee is okay. If there's any problem in the knee, you should sit up on the edge of a pillow so there's less weight on the knee. Should be okay for most people on the knee. Hook under with your left foot, raise the left knee. As you exhale, tip the pelvis back, reach out with your chest, shoulder blades back, neck long. Feel the stretch to the outer right hip. One more breath before you turn. Inhale. And then exhale, tip pelvis back, reach out with the chest, shoulder blades back, neck long. And then let your left knee come down onto the ground. Your left hand's going to come across to the edge of the right knee. Right hand onto the right side of the pelvis, pushing off the sacrum, the pelvis. You'll turn. As you turn, try to keep your neck from doing this. Both shoulder blades back, your left shoulder blade back. Your neck then can lengthen over that. And then turn. The stretches mainly in the outer right buttock. Turning. And one more breath. Inhale, breathe. And exhale and turn through the lengthened spine. Turn. And release and come out of there. From there, we're going to try a seated spinal twist. Take both legs forward. Lift through your back. So to break the habit of rounding as you take our arms forward, we want to start to establish a new habit of lifting through the chest as you come forward. The twist is going to be with the right leg straight forward, and then the left foot comes across, the left knee comes across, and then you're going to be turning back to the left. Now as you turn to the left, the tendency is for the upper back to round, so let's just come across the outer knee with your left right hand. As you inhale, lift through. As you exhale, turn to the left. As you turn, your lower ribs are lifting, your shoulders are dropping, especially your left shoulder, and you turn and look over the left. One more breath. Inhale, breathe through the ribs to the back. Exhale, reestablish the lift of the ribs, and then turn into the upper back, and slowly come out. So in the twist, you'll feel it often as a hip stretch, and then into the low back. And what we don't want is to round into the low back as we twist, which is the habit throughout the day, is to round as we do our work. Instead, we'd like to start to establish more of a lengthened back as we work. And so we practice as we twist to the right now. Your left hand comes across to the edge of the knee. On the inhale, push off the ground with your right hand. Exhale, reestablish lifted spine, lengthened spine, open the chest, and then turn towards the right. Stretching your outer right hip some, feeling your abdominal muscles coming across, your low back muscles are being stretched out. 2 more breaths. Breathe steadily in. Inhale. Exhale. Sitting bones down, ribs up. Roll the right shoulder down. Keep that left leg alive. And turn. And 1 more breath. Inhale. Breathe. And exhale. Complete the twist here. Lengthen spine as you turn. And release. And come out of there. Okay, the next group of postures is going to be on your back. So come onto your back, and you're going to want a strap. Most of you will. And so we're going to stretch our legs out, our hamstrings out. Take your left leg out and take the strap around that left foot. You'll hold the strap with your hands. Then from here, straighten your right leg down, and you're going to twist to the right with your left leg. So come across to the right with your left leg. As you do so, roll the top hip down away and turn the upper body back. So as you come across with that left foot, your left shoulder is likely to come off slightly. As you exhale, turn the upper body back, keep the left leg fairly straight, and your left arm reaches out to the left. Inhale, stay steady with it. Exhale, left hip rolls down, your ribs turn, reach through the pose, open that left hamstring. And then bend that left knee, come in with the knee, hold the knee. Second side. Take your left foot down on the floor and then straighten your left leg. Take your right foot up into the strap. Take the strap around your right foot and start to bring that right leg up over. Start to stretch it through. And then you're going to hold the strap with your left hand and twist. And your hamstring flexibility depends on how close you are to the foot. If you're tighter, you're further away as you cross. If you're looser, you're closer to the foot. So that right leg comes across. You end up on the outer left hip as you come across with that right leg. And the right shoulder is likely to come off the ground a little bit. As you exhale, you're pushing through that crossed over leg, yet rolling that hip down. You might take your right thumb on the hip joint and roll the hip down as you exhale. So you're trying to lengthen that right low back as you stretch the hamstring. And then your upper back on the right shoulder blade area draws in and you reach along the floor with that right hand. So on the inhale, you're steady. On the exhale, your right hip rolls down, you reach through the crossed over leg, the right leg, and you turn back right. One more breath, inhale. And exhale and stretch through. And release, and then come out of there. And you can take the strap off to the side now. Let's take both knees into the chest. Hold your knees, hold your shins. Again, 3 times where you exhale and squeeze. So squeeze, if you squeeze around the knees, it stretches up in this upper lumbar area of the spine, upper part of the low back. If you squeeze mid part of the shins, then you're getting a little bit lower in your lumbar spine. And then down by the ankles is lower yet, down into the very low part of the lumbar spine. And release there. Now try a couple back bends. One is called bridge. You'll take your feet down onto the floor, feet close to the pelvis. Turn your feet so the feet are parallel. And then push with your feet, raise the pelvis. As you raise the pelvis, you can interweave your fingers underneath. On the exhale, try to reach the pelvis toward the line of the knees. Lengthen the belly by pulling your low ribs away from the pelvis. Walk under with your shoulders. And so this is a bridge pose. On the inhale, you're pretty steady. On the exhale, you angle the pelvis. You reach toward the line of the knees with the pelvis, and then your upper belly pulls out, your shoulders roll under, you push down with your arms. 2 more breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Push toward the line of the knees with your pelvis. Lift and open the chest. 1 more breath. Inhale. And exhale and reach toward the line of the knees with your pelvis. Open the chest. And then raise the heels of the feet. Undo your fingers and come down slowly. As you come down slowly, take your knees in and then again squeeze. Hold the knees as you exhale and squeeze. Couple more breaths here. And one more. Okay, now this next pose is to do either bridge again, or if it's possible, you could come up into this posture. So bridge again if the full back bend, the chakrasana, is not possible for you to do yet. The full back bend looks like this. If you can get up, lift, and try it. You're trying to lift the pelvis. The heels of the feet could raise a little bit. Open the chest, try to relax your neck. Couple more breaths. Open, you're trying to take your chest as high as possible. And one more. And down. Now, the bridge that second time was fine to do it that way the second time. And in either case, you come down, and then you'll hold your knees, squeeze your knees a couple, 3 times. Okay, from here we're going to try a low back twist. It's a fairly simple posture. Straighten your right leg straight down. Take your left foot on the right thigh, the right knee. You'll twist that left knee across to the right, your right hand. So it's much like we did with the strap, only the leg was straight before. Here the knee is bent. And so you're pushing off the edge of the knee with the opposite hand, with your right hand on the left knee in this case. Turning back left with your upper body. Couple breaths. It's a low back stretch after the back bending. You want to stretch your low back out. And one more breath. Exhale, turn, and release. And the second side. You'll straighten your left leg down. Your right knee will bend. You'll take the right foot on the left knee or quadriceps. You'll then turn that right knee across to the left. Your left hand will come onto the edge of the knee. And your right hand will reach out to the right. Your left knee goes towards the floor. In some cases, it might even go to the floor. The main idea is to lengthen the back as you twist, so your right hip rolls down away from the ribs, and then we turn the upper body back to the right. One more breath here. Inhale. And exhale and reach through it. Okay. And then from there, come back onto your back. Now, rest on your back for a moment. I like to try one more little grouping of postures. And that's going to be to rock back to a seated position. And then from the seated position, we're going to sit cross-legged. If your knees come up very high, you want to sit upon a pillow so your knees can come lower. If your hips are not so tight, then your knees come down, and so it's just cross-legged seated position. And then we're going to do some spinal flexes here. So you can hold the knees or hold the ankles, probably the knees. Exhale and round your low back on purpose. And then inhale and you'll lift up through the low ribs. Roll the shoulders back. Chin in slightly, lengthen. Exhale, round, low, middle, upper back. To the neck. Inhale, push off the floor with the sitting bones. Lift lower rib cage. Roll the shoulders back. Lengthen the neck. And one more time. Exhale and round. Low, middle, upper. Inhale and lift up through. Now from here, try twist each side. Many of us are used to, when we twist, to rounding. So before you twist, we'll take the left hand forward, right hand back, but you're going to use the fingers on the floor, the hands on the floor, to lift through the chest, and then you'll turn back to the right. So as you twist, it's lifted low rib cage. Inhale, you'll do that on the inhale, and then exhale, reestablish the lift, and then turn, roll the right shoulder back. And the second side, right hand forward, left hand back, inhale. Exhale, we lift the low ribs and turn, and so we're starting to establish a new habit of when we turn, we lift through the chest, and then we turn. One more breath, inhale. And exhale and lift and turn and release there. Now, you'll bend your knees a little bit. Here's where a strap could be used. You take the strap around the feet and then your back can more easily lengthen. Again, we don't want to round the back and then pull yourself forward. It's not so healthy for your low back. So if your hamstrings are tight, and likely they are if you're using this introductory yoga session, then you can hold the strap and pull yourself forward, something like this. Your knees could also bend a little bit. Now if you don't need the strap, then fine, you can go to the tops of the toes. Inhale, you'll lengthen through whether you're holding the strap or not. Exhale, re-pull out with your low ribs. Begin to stretch the legs out. 2 more breaths. Breathe through the ribs. Inhale. Exhale. Re-pull out. Reach through. And 1 more breath. Breathe through the ribs. Inhale. And exhale. And complete the forward bend here. Reaching through, reaching forward. And then come out of the pose. And we're going to come onto our back for a short rest. As you come onto your back, take the soles of the feet together, open your knees as you lie on your back, and then you can take your arms up over the head, hold one elbow with the opposite hand, and as you exhale, let your hip joints open, let your inner thigh muscles open. As you breathe in, breathe through the rib cage. It's easy to breathe into the intercostal muscles, the rib cage, while you're on your back with your feet in this position. As you exhale, allow the knees to open, allow the hips to open. Inhale, breathe through the ribs. Exhale, your hips open. Couple more. Breathe through the ribs, inhale. And exhale, and your hips open. And 1 more. Inhale, breathe through the ribs, slow, steady inhale. And exhale, the slow, steady exhale. And then from there, we'll come onto our back. So you bring your legs in. You can use your hands to help that. And then take your legs down. As you take your legs down, spread your feet about a couple feet apart. Turn your feet in and out. And then finally you'll drop your feet open. And then your palms will go face up on the ground. Lengthen the neck. Remember that neck core exercise we did. Bring the chin in slightly. Lengthen the neck and then relax back onto the floor. As you relax back onto the floor, just feel the effects of all the postures we've done. Make any small movements with your shoulders, your back muscles, your pelvis, your legs, just any small adjustments to help you feel more comfortable as you're here on your back. This position is called the corpse pose. While you're here, breathe slowly, deeply, steadily. As you exhale, feel the weight of your body resting back into the floor. As you inhale, your lungs will fill slowly. As you exhale, the energy that's come in on the inhale goes out through your body. So as you exhale, it's like energy spreading out through your whole body. And relax your whole body as much as you can. A few more slow breaths like this. Noting if there's tension in the body. And exhaling in there and making any small adjustments to help that area. The basic idea is that on the inhale you're breathing in energy, oxygen and prana into the heart, into the lungs. And as you exhale, you're relaxing through the whole body, the energy going out through the whole body, spreading out. A couple more like that. Inhale, breathe into the heart. And exhale and open, relaxing. And then continue like this for as long as you wish. Namaste.